Hello, and welcome back to Our Life Beginnings and Always. It's step 2 today. We're finally back. Tomorrow is the first day of summer, officially, to date this. I have to, right? And we have a lot ahead of us here. This is probably my favorite part of the game, honestly. Like, step 3 so far from what I've seen. There's some parts I like, but it's just... And you learn a lot of stuff. I have to start out by saying a big apology to Kyra Priest. I now know why Cove's parents divorced, and I have been completely wrong. Kyra Priest is just an angel, and she's fantastic. I love her. Yeah. There is a character in this game I don't like. We haven't met him yet, and I don't think I'm going to like him. And I don't think I'm going to do the extra DLC that comes with him. But Derek's DLC is fantastic. It just gives you this whole thing. We're not doing a romance story, though. We're doing a friendship story. You'll see. What's this? Oh, this is just the thing I just looked at. Duh. So, let's do some of this. I've got a dice here. I had to do a bigger-sided dice. Let's see what kind of moments we can get up to. I hope you're all doing well. I hope you're really enjoying this. I am enjoying this. This game is just special and cool, so... 17 is outside of my wheelhouse, guy. No, stop rolling 17. If I was D&D, man, if it was D&D, I'd be really happy right now. 8! Summer work? Really? We're starting out with summer work? Really? I'm gonna get it out of the way, I guess. I mean, maybe we're that kind of a kid, like, I don't know. I'm that kind of a kid that, like, if I had summer vacation homework, this is something I never understood. Kids, I have never had that. What school does that? Gives you, like, summer assignments. Where do you get that? Where do you go to school that you get... Because the whole point is, like, especially when you're in U.S. grade schools, you are between classes in the summer. You don't have a proper teacher. You have, your old teacher... ceases to be your same teacher. The next year when you start school, for me, it was even, I'm not even gonna be in the same school the next year. But, like, it was like you had, like, a different teacher. So how could they assign you work? Like, who's gonna grade it? Who's gonna care? What does it mean? What does it even matter? Like, why would you have that? But you see that in, like, movies and TV and, like, games all the time, where the kids have to go to summer vacation and they have to do their summer, like, assignments. And I know it's, like, a thing maybe in, like, Japanese culture, and, like, you see that in a lot of anime, and you see it in a lot of, like, other things. But it's not, like, something I've ever noticed in American schools. Like, not, like, where I've gone to school and, like, other people I know. Can anyone out there comment on summer work, on summer assignments for me? Can you explain this to me? Is this the thing that actually happens? We're going to do it, because it's what we rolled. And it's, like I said, it's probably one of the most boring moments in Step 2. So, we'll get that out of the way, at least. Here we go. You stared out the window watching the scenery pass by as your mom drove down the quiet streets at a leisurely pace. A singer crooned sweetly from the radio, turned low enough that you could block it out if you wanted. I think we've been in Mom's car before. I think we've been in Cove's dad's car. Have I commented on Mom's car before? I think in Runaway we were in Mom's car, coming back. So yeah, this is... I think Mom and Ma both have their own car. But I think... Either there's just one family car, but yeah, these early 2000s, this is 2011 now, so this car is probably getting fairly old. They have the same car for the whole time, too, which is interesting. That means their cars last for like a whole frickin' almost 20 years. Take good care of it, jeez. You turned away from the window when your mom suddenly spoke up. Well, kids, are you excited to be going to the library? I guess? So, this is completely out of context, but, like, without knowing, I mean, the beginning of, I know what happens in this moment, so I know why they're going to the library, so I'm going to answer appropriately. But this is kind of a troll, a beginner's trap. Because you could be the character that really likes going to the library, right? But you're not going to the library to read or do anything fun. I guess? You don't sound so sure there, Marina. Mom wasn't wrong. It was what it was, but your real interest lay elsewhere. Taking a trip down to the library used to be kind of fun when you were a kid, but that was different from right now.
So,
what about you, Cove? You're part of the conversation too. Of course Cove is here.
not really.
If I did have school stuff to do, I would probably be somewhere else. If I didn't have school stuff to do, I'd probably be somewhere else. We're here to do schoolwork, not to have fun. So we wouldn't be enjoying it. Marina wants to be at the beach.
I see.
I get it. I wasn't so keen on the library in my day either. Really? Well, no, unless you count under 6 years old as my day. She grinned over at the two of you briefly. Mom refocused on driving, humming along with the radio under her breath. You went back to staring outside. We enjoyed it. As you passed one street, you caught a glimpse of someone in brightly colored clothing passing out balloon animals. It sparked a faraway memory, and you felt your lips twitching up before consciously remembering why. How long ago was it that you and Cove watched the amazing Alexander performing magic tricks? See, they call back to things like that, which is cute. Cove, look at the guy out the window. You kept... Yeah, no. Yeah. Cove turned his head just a second too late. Who? It doesn't matter. Do you remember the amazing Alexander? Who? I love how this one random street musician made this much of an impact on our character that she remembers, like, all these years later, but Cove and people don't. To be fair, if it was me, I probably wouldn't. I have the I can't remember things from my childhood. I can't remember things from when I was 8. I have vague, like, thoughts about certain things, but I don't remember things. Like, I don't know. I hate it. I want to know if everyone else's memory is like this. I hate my memory because I can't remember my past. Things I've done, people I've interacted with. It's horrible. But it's not like a short-term memory. Like, I remember some things and I have a good mind for, like, facts and figures, but, like, I really don't remember my childhood, barely at all, other than vague feelings and memories. Is that how everyone's memory works, or is it just me? It scares me. Because I have no past. You gave us dolphin balloons. Yours popped, you cried, it was a big day?
Oh.
Right, that was a while ago. It was so fun. Cove smiled faintly. It was the first time we ever went down that street together, I think. It was also one of the last moments I did at step 1. I missed my balloon. He was a good dolphin for that one afternoon I had him. Yeah, hey Cove. What were you gonna name your balloon? You never told me. Oh, I don't know. I can't remember what Kid Me was thinking. Probably something obvious like Flipper. You couldn't help the way your own smile curled up with that sentiment. You wanted to say something else, but couldn't quite think of what, so you just settled back into your seat. And so just settled back into your seat. When silence filled the car again, you returned your attention to the window. It was an absolutely gorgeous day. It is. It is today, too. You leaned your face to the sunshine, tempted to close your eyes as the gentle rays warmed your cheeks. Marina? Huh? You lifted yourself a bit more, seeing your mom twisting your torso to face you, confused from the front seat of the car. Next to you was nothing. Cove's car door was already open. You had reached the destination before you even realized it. I was asking what time should I pick you two up? Oh, 4 should be okay. That should give you enough time to finish your summer assignments, or at least make a large enough dent. Thanks, Mom. Hey! So my friend talks about this. This is the one parking lot in the entire game that they drew. And this gives me kind of an insight on where this... It's kind of weird to me. Because I've been to California... Well, no. Actually, it's correct. Because I've been to California. They live close enough to the coast, right? And this is still in Sunset Bird, where they're at. But there are places in California where there are big rolling hills like this, not too far from the coastline stuff. It gets into this kind of terrain. But I love this scenery. I love this background. I really want to know what that is. Is that like a stairway? What is that? Is it just one of these things? Like little parking locker things? Entrance to the lot things? But this is the one parking lot they decided to make for the whole game, which is, so you see it, anytime you go somewhere where you have to park, they reuse this. You hopped out of the car remembering to grab your backpack at the last second. It's just the first time we've seen it here. It's interesting.
Alright.
Have fun, you two. Yeah, fun. Your mom snorted, but you couldn't help pouting a little. A beautiful afternoon like this, and you're going to the library to do homework. The two of you went right out the door to the library. Cove reached it first and then tugged it open, stepping inside. He kept it propped open so you could pass through behind it. The air was much cooler inside the building than it had been for the first few seconds you spent outdoors. The space was filled with soft din of papers being moved and whispered voices. I'm gonna just... This right here looks like it's a magazine about the Backstreet Boys. Or some boy band. Just saying. I don't remember if that was there last time or if they've changed it slightly. The old library music. Hey, you seem kind of distracted in the ride here. Just enjoying the day. I'm excited to see Derek. Want to walk around for a bit. I want to walk around for a bit, but... Yeah, actually.
What?
I'm distracted, so... Cove looked dangerously close to rolling his eyes. Don't tempt me. Cove's eyes straight toward the door. You considered trying to persuade him despite this protest, but eventually you talked yourself out of it. Maybe if Derek wasn't waiting. Your study buddy was standing at the front of the library by a long rack of magazines. Predictably, he was flipping through one with various sports players in the cover, looking intense enough to burst off the page. Here's our good buddy Derek again. We're gonna hang out with him. I love his green eyes. I like this man a lot. He's a really good character. He is, for me, the complete opposite of Baxter Ward from Step 3. You'll see what I mean when we get there. I'm gonna stop talking about Baxter Ward, but Derek is just good. Again, I don't think he's someone I would have ever been friends with when I was in school, just given that we don't have similar interests, but he's a cool dude. I do like him in the context of this game. I probably wouldn't have been friends with this man's either, though. Really. His head snapped up when you walked over, beaming widely. Maybe if he was my neighbor, maybe. I'm not very good at making friends, though. Hey, Marina. Cove. Hi. Were you waiting for a while? Not super long. Derek put the magazine back in its place, then he gestured to the space to the side. Most of the tables were empty, only a few people leafing through books. There's plenty of room. An unspoken agreement, the three of you started moving towards the seating area, Derek taking 2 steps for every one of Cove's. Short people problems, am I right? Oh, guess what? I'm pretty sure I've mastered the fake shot. I'll show you some other time. Derek looked over to gauge the level of interest. Do you know it? Soccer's not really for me. All the sporty stuff Cove liked was beach-related, surfing, snorkeling, bodyboarding. And he didn't play a lot of team games, but he did like doubles volleyball. Guess who else plays doubles volleyball? How does it go? Derek's eyes flashed with excitement as he explained.
Okay.
Well, I like that. Kit, that was cute. Well, you move the ball like you're gonna go one way, then... He demonstrated by running a few steps ahead, showing off some fancy footwork. You do it like this, so it does it like that. Like this, or like that, or like this, or like this, like that. You laughed, bobbing your head at his attempt to get the trick across with no ball. Shh. The three of you looked over at the checkout desk. The librarian stood behind it and was wearing a deep frown. I've never seen librarians to be like... This is another thing I gotta talk about for a second. I'm gonna get derailed a lot, probably, especially with stuff like this in this game, but... I have never in my life gone to a library where the librarian acted anything like they do in movies, books, or video games, or anything like that. Like, they're always just super nice people. There are signs around the libraries that you need to be quiet, but I've never, and even when people were making noise, I've never once seen a librarian be like, "Quiet in the library! Oh my goodness! You can't talk!" Shh. They're always just like the nicest people, okay? Librarians are never like they are in anything. They're never like these old ladies who are just obsessed with quiet and like being a jerk to the people in the library. And like that don't like kids and stuff. They're always like these wonderful people who want to help with community service and help just be helpful. So I hate it. Where'd that portrayal come from? Was there like a librarian one time who was like a total binge, and then like every librarian after that has to be like that? How did that stereotype get started? You felt bad, you were apologetic, you didn't think it was a big deal. You turned away, rolling your eyes. This is practically no one here. Who were you disturbing by being a little loud? Derek scratched his cheek, choosing not to let that derail things.
Oops.
So, what are you guys working on? What weren't you working on? There were some things you had gotten to start with. You had yet to start a single assignment, sadly. You had yet to start a single assignment because you didn't feel like it. I mean... But... I was gonna make a joke. I was gonna make the joke about pick which one you think Marina Foster will pick, but I hovered over it way too long. You had a few assignments to work on, but you hadn't sat down and decided which to focus this afternoon on or anything. You just grabbed all of them and chucked them in your backpack. You figured you could pick up when the time came. This is the kind of person that Marina Foster is. I think I'll work on my history assignment. I have some math problems I'll need to work. I don't care. I don't know. I'll let fate decide and do whichever I pull out of my bag first. There's some summer reading too. I have to go through an assigned book, but I'm gonna do that later since it doesn't need extra references or anything. Yeah, I mean, Marina to this day still enjoys reading. I think we established that with Kyra. I mean, I think we picked specific types of books like fiction and mystery and stuff, but she likes reading. She's always liked reading. What about you two? I've got a few worksheets. They look pretty easy, but my school gave us 3 books to read. Can't they stick with just one? I mean, worksheets when you're 13 is kind of weird to me. I feel like I didn't have worksheets at that point. Worksheets are like a little kid thing. Like kindergarten, first grade. Just saying. I'm doing a timeline for history. You off on the table, close to a tall bookshelf to set up camp. To which I'm only just now realizing this is the exact same table that we used for Lizzie in her quiz. It's even got like the same books on it, pretty much. Like, because there's this one with Lennon on it. And so we had Shiloh here and Lizzie here before. They just used the same background. When I saw my friend do this, I thought this was a different background. Yeah. Within seconds, pencils and folders and books were strewn out on the surface. Ready for the grand reveal? Without waiting for a response, you close your eyes, pull the book from your bag, and put it on the table like a trump card in a poker game. You open your eyes to find your history book before you. The matter had been settled. Okay, so you end up... If you don't pick, then it picks history for you. But you can do math. But... So it picks the same thing as Cove is doing. Well, me and Cove are doing the same thing. You focused on your work, you doodled. You looked out the window. You just looked out the window again. She's not artistic. You turned your head to the windows near the entrance. The sunlight filtered in and made the carpet sparkle in a way that seemed to taunt you. You drummed your pen against the table in a staccato rhythm, half-heartedly thinking about the assignment laid out in front of you. If you left at 4, there should be plenty of daylight left. Maybe you could go out for a couple of hours. A whisper of your name brought you back to reality. Marina? You turned your head, seeing Cove staring pointedly at your pen. You got the message. The tapping was annoying. So the question here, I realize now, and I might even do this and go back after the fact, and recheck it, because I don't know if I can actually. I don't think I saved it before the point. I think we're past the point of no return. I was curious what kind of Cove we got, because I'm pretty sure we have a more sporty, a warm, sporty Cove, right? But he can be studious as well. I'm just wondering how that will affect this scene and some of the other scenes with Cove, and how he is, as far as in school and stuff. Anyway, sorry. Marina even says it. After some time, Cove shifted in his seat, twisting his back as if trying to work knots out of it. Let me guess, your soul is crying out for the sea. The corners of Cove's mouth twitched into a smile. I'll have to settle for walking around the library for a few minutes. Okay, I'm gonna stay here. I'm making good progress. Meanwhile, the man's on the left is a good student who does his work and is smart and stuff. I'll come with you. You might as well take the opportunity to refresh yourself before getting back to work. Yeah, that we ever did in the first place. The two of you strolled away from where you'd been working. Your eyes roamed over the titles of the books as you passed. Some were dull, some were intriguing, and others were just strange, but you didn't spot anything that made you pause and pick it up. Looking for something? Reading assignment is more than enough? Always? Always? I tear through books. I might go out of here if there's enough time. This comment reminded you of the clock ticking away. Even after you'd finished your work for the summer, the countdown to the new school year would still be on track. Yeah, see, you're kind of supposed to be doing this one later. This is like my first one I did, so like... But I guess these moments don't... No one says these have to happen in a specific order. They could all be still happening in different orders. Before you know it, we'll be back at class. Yeah, we just got out and it's almost here again. Are you looking forward to going back? Cove gave you a wry smile. So, like, that's another thing I don't... When I had summer break, it started, like, mid-June, and we didn't go back till after Labor Day. So you had almost 3 solid months of summer. But, like, where I live here, the kids get, like, they're lucky if they get 2 months. They get out at the end of June, and they go back right at the very, like, mid-August. Or beginning of August. It's like... You barely get 2 months, if that, of summer. What is up with that? I used to get, like I said, at least 3 solid months of summer break. Why do kids nowadays, and maybe it's just the area too, get shafted so hard? Why do we need so much school? I mean, don't get me wrong, I loved school as a kid, but I probably would have liked to have had more school back then, but why is it like this? It's not fair. No, I still never want summer to end. I mean, neither, Cove, because that means this game ends. He wistfully let his gaze go different. He wrapped his arms around himself. You weren't sure if his longing was for the beach or the concept of summer itself. Summer means you can do what you want. I wish everything wasn't always decided for me. I want to grow up already. Aw, poor Cove. He looks like a little man's here. He doesn't look 13, because he's tall and adult-looking. Cove didn't feel safe knowing it. The others... He's very professional clothing, which is weird. I don't have, like, the weird Cove who wears just, like, t-shirts and stuff. There's a different version of him. He can wear, like, more beach clothes all the time. Cove didn't feel safe knowing it was others who really determined what his life was like. You understood that much. So, like... I keep getting distracted, but yeah, I was talking about earlier, is, like, you can actually look and see what Cove... But I'm pretty sure this is still the same moment. Yeah, these were all... This is still after we picked what everybody looked like. Well, I might still be able to go to that one and go back. We might do that at the end of this video, if there's enough time, and just see what kind of Cove we have. But there's some things that are alright, like seeing our classmates and teachers again. Yeah. He perked up at his own words. Maybe we'll even be in the same classes this year. That'd be great. A smile started across his face, twinkling his eyes. So they're gonna be, if they're 13 now, they're gonna be in like 7th grade, right? So that's where I started having different classes. Like it wasn't just like the same. Every, you know, you didn't go to the same class, stay in the same classroom all day. So, or is that 8th grade? Let's see. Yeah, it's 8th grade already, actually. So it wouldn't be their first time sitting in a classroom. Or switching classes, I mean.
So...
What about you? Do you want to go back to school already? Yeah, I'm ready for school to start. No, I don't want summer to end either. I like summer, but I'm ready to go back when I'm at school when I've got to. I don't. No, I don't want summer to end either. It made you depressed just thinking about it. Cove nodded, obviously getting where you were coming from. There was really no getting away from the topic of school right now. It prompted you to think back to the classes you were in. You pursed your lips. Okay. Here's where you can pick what you like at school. History class was the one you were looking forward to. English class was enjoyable. Math class kept your attention. Science class fascinated. You wanted to enroll in the art class. You didn't like any of them. Now, I've expressed this about Marina Foster. Marina likes reading. Math? So, let's talk about Holly for a second, though. Math and science, but English was always my favorite. I liked everything, but I think of all the things, history was the one I liked the least. Just because it was just kind of, history. And the teachers never did a very good job of making it very interesting. They were always kind of just dry. You have to write a lot of papers. You have to do a lot of, like reading stuff for that. I mean, obviously English was a lot of reading, but it was also, presenting. You also had to do a lot of, presentations, speeches, performances. You got to do read-alouds with the class kind of stuff. I liked that. I always liked math, and I really liked science. And that's probably why I'm an engineer today. But, English class, and that's what Marina would like also. You liked the books you had to read You liked the books we had to read in English class. The writing assignments were engaging, too. Why would you put it like that? Wouldn't it be that you liked the books you had to read in English class? We had to read, like me and you? The writing assignments were engaging, too. Yeah, the writing assignments were engaging. To this day, I love writing. And that was all. I mean, I guess you could pick more than one, but this character isn't going to give a shit about any of the other things here. I'm sorry. Each lost in your own thoughts, you continue to stroll through the library for a little while longer, until Cove caught your attention again. We should probably head back. Yeah, we don't want him sending a search party. Before you could take a step back, Cove cleared his throat, avoiding your gaze. Thanks for listening before. About what? Don't make a habit of it. So I was having a conversation with my friend Sarah about this. There's a lot of options in here where you can just be a total, just dick to whoever you're talking to, your family, to Cove, to your friends, to other people. And I want to play a character that picks every single one of those options and is just the worst person ever. But also, romances Cove and is, really jealous and possessive of his time and is, a horrible girlfriend. And just see how the game reacts to that. If you're just this, monster. Because you can be one. You can also be nice, and you can say things like, it's cool. Cove smiled, his cheeks pink. You jerked your head towards where Derek had been left studying. Time to get back to work. Time to go to work. I've totally forgotten about my plans to Twitch stream this summer. Aw, man. It is time to get back to work, and I've totally forgotten about that. Oh, darn. I'm gonna have to figure that out. Cove and you rejoined with Derek and settled back in as quietly as you could manage. Work continued as normal from there. The sound of shuffling dragged you out of your head. You looked up surprised to see Derek packing up. You're done? Derek casually shrugged, but you could tell he felt proud to be the first finished. Uh-huh. Told you it wasn't anything hard. Wish mine was that easy. Was it even worth coming to the library for that? What are you gonna do now? Yeah. You wonder how Derek was gonna spend his newfound freedom.
Maybe.
I could look over what you're doing. Maybe I've got some tips that'll help. That'd be great, thanks. No thanks. You nodded your head, yes. You shook your head, no. That'd be great, thanks.
I gotcha.
Thanks. With a smile, Derek leaned over your part of the table. He took some time to get past the gist and point you in the right direction before turning it back over to you. Derek leaned on the back on his feet. Okay, I'm gonna look around when you guys finish. See ya. So he's like a, smart kid. He's gonna help us out. Bye.
Bye.
Later on, Cove shifted in his seat, closing his book as he looked out over the notes he'd been taking. Glancing away, you contemplated what you'd done thus far, too. See, if we'd won our studying and worked like Derek, we'd probably be done now, too. But, we didn't, so... This is kind of very much similar to the way Sorrows went, except my character's a little bit, less interested in, school. I guess her character wasn't very interested in school either, but she's more not as communicative about it, because she was very, silent. You'd finished most of the assignments. You'd say there was about half yet. You still had a long way to go. You'd spent most of the time being unable to focus. Yeah. It was hard not to feel guilty staring down at the mostly blank page in front of you. There's no point in forcing it. Derek's advice seemed to have fallen on deaf ears. Are you about ready? It's almost 4. Yeah, I think so. Come on. The both of you gathered up your books, and after returning the ones you'd used for reference to the proper shelves, set off to find wherever Derek had wandered off to. So I did do a lot of projects like this, especially for history class, where you had to do reference stuff. And We did make a lot of trips to the library to do that, and I always really enjoyed it. One of the memories I do have that I really will never forget, and this is really important to me, is that when I was in one of my English class assignments, we had to do a book study. Not like just a book report, but you had to like actually like research the author and the book and like we went to the big like the main like bigger public library in like the neighboring kind of city, and that made an impact on me. That was so cool. The book I had chosen was what was it called? Nemesis, I think was the name of it, by Isaac Asimov. It was a science fiction. But I did a lot of research about Asimov and found out how much I liked him. It was one of his standalone novels that wasn't tied to Foundation or iRobot or any of that stuff. It was a different sort of science fiction. I was into, I'm always into like science fiction stuff, but it was really cool. To this day, I don't remember much about what the book was about at all, but I do remember that assignment. Anyway, yeah, that stuff. He was in the biography section. His back was to the two of you, one hand above his head and the other supporting himself against the shelf as he strained to grab one of the books. Hey, Derek, we're ready.
Okay.
Yeah. He's, trying to short people problems, am I right? You glance towards the sound of your voice and then up towards the shelf he was trying to reach. I can get that for you. He followed his gaze and took the book off the shelf for him. Derek? We're just gonna do it. Here you go. He held the book out for him. He just stared at you, speechless. Yeah, she would be like this. Until he eventually accepted the book from your hand and squeaked a small reply with flushed cheeks. Short people problems, am I right? I was the short kind of person that would never have asked for help. I would have just jumped up and grabbed it. Thanks. And then the three of you moved to the front of the library to wait for your rides. You stood close to the window and let out the content sigh, feeling the rays warm you from the slightly chilly library interior. I wish our assignments were more exciting. He stared into space. Got any plans after this? Yeah, we're not talking about school. Why would we do that? Gonna work on my technique. Can't get rusty with skills out. The answer was inevitable. Technique for what? Soccer. How about you two? So I realized there was a missed opportunity when I was talking to, I think I mentioned at the time, I picked softball, and I don't think you could pick another like free entry, but I really kind of wanted Marina to play soccer too, so she could play with this man's. But there's other opportunities to express that, so I might do it. You considered the question, mostly in case your mom's had something penciled in for the evening that you'd forgotten. Nothing planned. Me neither. Oh, that's my dad's car. Derek lifted his hand to wave, pushing the door open and heading towards the blue pickup truck waiting in the parking lot.
Talk to you later.
See you, Marina. Bye, Cove. You watched Derek jog off before scanning the area for your mom. For your mom? Did you get everything done? You got lost in your thoughts. Well, we'll ask Cove if you got everything done. Sort of. I'll get it done. We both will, right? He smiled understanding. Right. I feel like I'll need to come back to the library again before summer's over. I'll come with you. I still have those books to read anyway. You better? You better. I'm not going alone. He chuckled. Let's do something when we get back. Maybe the beach? Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. He was always easy to please that way. The two of you smiled at each other. It wasn't long before you spied your mom's car coming down the road. So there's something interesting. I don't remember. I might have to watch my friend's video back. I don't know that she would have suggested the beach because her character didn't like the beach. But Marina loves it. They have that in common, right? There she is.
All right.
Time to go then. You climbed in the car, sliding into your usual seats and buckling the belts. Hey kids. Hey kiddos. Did you get a lot done? Mom squinted at you, but you purposely didn't catch her eye. The car shifted into action and you watched as the library shrunk into the distance. It wouldn't be the last time you saw it this summer, but at least you knew you were going to have company. You chatted easily with Mom about the day while you juggled the conversation with Cove. Imagine if I was a good student in this. See, this has already been more than a half an hour, and it's not even been that interesting of a moment. When she learned you two were planning on returning, she immediately offered to give you a ride next time. You continued to answer Mom's questions about what you'd been working on, and told her your plans to stick with Cove after getting back. But soon enough the trip was over, you had arrived back to your neighborhood. Cove had run over to his house real quick to drop off his stuff. You also made a pit stop before your backpack, put your backpack away before heading out again. The two of you regrouped in the middle of the road halfway between your houses. With everything wrapped up, you could now freely enjoy the rest of the afternoon. Your conversation resumed as you both began walking down the street together. The afternoon came and went. Dinner was eaten, and you were cleaning up the dishes left behind from it. Cove had elected to stay for the meal today. He passed you a couple plates to rinse in the sink, even though he didn't have to. Cove asked to do at least something to help. Remember the days when Cove didn't want to stay over at our house? For dinner? When he hated dinner here? You scrubbed the last of them and let out a satisfied sigh. Okay, they're done. I'm going upstairs now. You addressed your guest for the evening. Do you want to come?
Yeah.
I don't have to go back till later. Take it easy, kids. Thank you for the help. When you got back to your room, you noticed your backpack from earlier. You figured it would be best to unpack the stuff you needed before getting to bed. Oh, that's right. There is still more to this moment. Shoot. they told you they're kind of longer. Go flopped into your desk chair and spun it around as best a bit as you get comfortable. Oh man, this could go on for a while yet. I just remembered what else we get to do with this. Holy crap. Also, I never commented on this earlier, but I love her room. The shape of this house. These ceilings. I love rooms that have stuff like this. This would be so cozy. This little area here. I would have liked. Well, no, you would. I want the bed by the window. He watched you contentedly as you walked across the room. He didn't need or expect you to try entertaining him constantly. It was just nice to be near each other, even when nothing was going on. You hefted your bag onto the bed, sunk into the comforter. With that, you started to sort through the books and paper packets. Not all of it were the things you'd need anytime soon. A small pile of the most important assets began to grow at the side of your backpack until you'd gone over it all. You had actually finished flipping through the contents, but that wasn't all of your work. You instinctively pulled the opening closer to you and peered inside. A second look commenced, and then a third, and then you began to open the smaller pockets. You were missing your history assignment. Marina? By this point, Cove could tell something was wrong. You had spent the better part of your day making progress on it, and now it was gone. It hadn't been that noteworthy before, but the bag was really zipped when you began to first look. The work could have fallen out somewhere, if you'd had it in the first place. You were upset with the revelation and made yourself stay calm. You started to panic. All you could do was shrug. Your stress level shot up. It's best to think positively. You felt paralyzed. Welcome to Marina Foster 101. The assignment could be anywhere. You were never going to get it back. It's gone, and now you were going to have to replace everything you did for it. My history work isn't in my backpack. At your word, Cove jumped out of his seat.
No way!
Oh crap! Is there somewhere we can look? The bag was kind of open, so... He winced sympathetically. That left a lot of options where it might be, most of them bad. Whoa. He a little vex here. I do like his casually unbuttoned collar. You made a sudden bolt for the other side of your room. You started to scour the spot the backpack was originally left in. With nothing in sight, you expanded the search to the rest of the space. Cove did his best to stay out of your way while keeping an eye open for your missing work. It was a frantic and ultimately fruitless effort. Your assignment wasn't here. Let's check downstairs. It might still be in your house someplace. Fine.
How are you?
Why, hello again. Is everything alright? You told your mom what was going on. You gave a rambling explanation of the situation. You answered with a raised voice. Ooh. Rambly explanation, probably. We're probably not this worked. No. I did, but when I was getting out, it wasn't there, and I don't know.
What?
My schoolwork is missing. This was definitely getting to you. You have things you want to do, that you need to do. Instead, you have to worry about this.
I am so sorry.
What's missing? An assignment for school from the library today. Mom's eyebrows raised her concern at the answer. That's the pickle. I'll call right now. I think they might still be open. See, I thought about the whole, idea of if I was Marina, and I wish this option was in here. Hey, Cove, let's walk back to the library and go. Now, she'd probably be smart enough to know the library's closed, but she'd probably look on her own before telling the moms. Thanks, Mom.
You're welcome.
Just leave it to me. Come, honey. Cove, honey, can you tell us if there was anything you noticed? You were with Marina, right? I saw the assignment Marina handed out at the library. I don't remember putting it away, but I'm pretty positive there was nothing left on the table when we were done. He spoke resolutely, but now he hadn't considered something might have been left behind. You had felt the same when leaving, though it was hard not to second-guess things right now. Your mom re-entered the scene a few minutes later, and the look on her face was not promising.
Well...
So I got a hold of one of the librarians. They don't have any of the papers with your name on them. Not that they could see anyway. I'm sorry. Thanks for trying. Okay, you had no reply. You groaned in frustration.
Sweetie.
Honey, we'll figure this out. Marina, hey, let's go over to my house. I can check my bag. Maybe I took it when we were packing up and didn't notice. Good idea. I don't want to. Alright, it's not gonna be there. She's not gonna be negative. Also welcome to Marina Foster 101. You got the impression that this was just about another place to look. You were stressed out over the situation here. He was trying to give you an out. This wasn't just about another place to look. Let's go. Cove nodded and made his way to the door. Your mom stood by with creased brows. Take care, kids. Good luck. Bye, moms. So, this is actually, oddly enough, the first time we've ever been in Cove's house in this. There's earlier moments in this where you would go to Cove's house. But yeah, so here's the windows. So now we can compare these windows to the windows we're seeing outside. Unless this is facing back. This is probably facing back, towards the back of the house. Darn it. But let's take a good look at Cove's house. They've got these kind of things. He's got a bowl of wax fruit that I'm sure that's wax fruit, not real fruit. My grandma had wax fruit when I was a kid, and I was obsessed with it. I love the size of their kitchen. You don't get to see your kitchen ever, which is odd, considering how many scenes take place there. I love this little kitchen, this little island. These would be annoying. I don't like these. I feel like it'd be better off without those. They've got the same kind of table setup that you've got over there with like all the extra space for people. Is this stairs or is there just a railing here for no reason? Just a railing here for no reason. Also, who does this? I mean, I guess maybe that's just the lighting for the room and they just happen to have a painting underneath it, I guess. It just seems really weird to me. But yeah, this is Cliff Holden's house. The house that Cliff built. You briskly made it through the trip across the street, and in less than a minute you were going through the threshold of Cove's house. Cove had been in a rush earlier today, too. His backpack was tossed on the couch without a thought. No one had moved it since then. You can sit down or anything. I'm gonna look. He lifted up the backpack and unzipped it in a fluid motion. You were left to wait as he rooted around inside with an unexpected level of seriousness. There was no way you could relax right now. You were actually calming down now. No, there was no way you could relax right now. You leaned closer, trying to get a peek into what he was seeing. Every second of not knowing made you more tense. Your impatience didn't go unnoticed. He tore through the contents rapidly. Oh man! I'm a little bit vexed. I'm a little bit vexed there. Like your teeth in a moment. Until Cove's eyes drifted from the opening of the bag and traced the length of the room's floor. His arms were still tucked away inside, but the search was over. His heart sank. It was obvious there wasn't much of a chance. Cove somehow had it wasn't much of a chance. Cove still had it somehow had it this whole time. Still, you wanted hope. Finally, Cove lowered his backpack to the floor while slipping his arm out. He wasn't empty-handed. Cove extended a few papers your way. All right, here. Your eyes flicked down at the assignment and then went right back to his face. That's your copy. In an almost silent room, you could hear the slight crinkling of paper as his fingers gripped tighter. His expression was just as firm. No, it's yours. Thank you. Cove, I can't take that from you. I appreciate you want to help, but that's not okay. That's cheating. Are you sure? You can only stare at him. Cove, I can't take that from you. She wouldn't care about cheating, but she would care about Cove being able to do his own assignments. Why not?
I mean...
That assignment and grades, they're important to you. And, you know, you're important to me, so... Marina, Cove, buddy. I might not have given you this impression, but... These grades are not important to Marina. She does not give a care about these grades. She's freaking out because the situation... Completely different reasons, Cove. Not because she lost a school assignment. She'd have to start over, Cove. She has to do all this extra work now. That's what it is. And that takes away from precious summertime, which is what you're doing if you give her the assignment, and she'd never do that to you. He flatly dropped the papers at your feet, refusing to meet your eyes. I think I did pretty good with it. The marks shouldn't be bad. You thanked him for what he was trying to do. You hugged him. You insisted he shouldn't go through with it. Oh, she's gonna fight you. Marina Foster is gonna die on this hill. I get it, but we can't do something like that. Cove's consideration made you feel good. You felt terrible about all this. You were teary-eyed over the gesture. You felt terrible about all this. You didn't want to make such a dumb mistake and lose your work, and you didn't want Cove to think he had to do something like that. It was just awful. But as though he could read your mind, Cove spoke softly to you. Please don't feel bad, Marina. Missing an assignment is something that doesn't bother me. I mean, you've known me long enough to see what does upset me. The statement had started out lighthearted, but was quickly shifted to one much more serious. This does give you this is a moment where you get to get a good look at Cove and who he is and what he's into, what he's about. I wonder if Studious Cove would have cared more, though. You were always there. Your eyes met and his face was full of affection. Then the moment was interrupted by the phone piercing ring of the Holden home phone. Wow, I can't read today. So, do you think that this man's has kind of a crush on us? Maybe. You wordlessly stared down at one another with upraised brows. Cove's mouth formed a tiny frown. Did I talk about this earlier? I was really curious how Cove is going to be, regardless of how we are. If since this is a romance game at heart, if Cove will still try to romance us, even if we don't try to romance him. Kyra appeared from the hall on the far side of the living room, summoned by the noise. Oh God, I forgot Kyra was here in this step.
Hey, ya.
Hey, Cove. Hi, Marina. I didn't know you were here. She strolled on past. Your eyes followed her. I love this woman. I wouldn't love her in real life, but I love her in the context of this game. She makes me feel happy. She's like a ray of sunshine into otherwise gloomy moments like this. Cove's mom answered the call, giving a chipper greeting to whoever was on the other end. A few uh-huhs and mm-hms later, Kyra thanked the person who placed the phone down once more. Marina, that was your ma. She said your stuff was in the car.
What?
What? That's what I was told. Now, I'll just return to the guest room. You can have your privacy. Cove's face, she comes up just to answer the phone. Marina, Kyra Priest, ladies and gentlemen. It'd be like one of those sitcoms where Kyra walks out and you hear all the people go, woo! And then she has like one scene and then she leaves. Cove's face, I kind of think of this as like a romance, like one of those like sitcoms you watched in the 90s when you were a kid. It kind of has that same flow, right? Cove's face cycled from shock to sour as his mom made her escape laughing. So like there would be like these like, like this would be the episode. Like it'd be about these two kids in their life, and this episode is about them doing stuff at the library with Derek for the first scene, and then they go home, and then this whole thing happens, and there's some funny moments, and then Kyra comes out, and there's the big, this it's like one of those. It really does. That's what this is. That's part of the reason this is so charming, because it has the flow and feel of like a '90s sitcom, like your Full House, or your Family Matters. Or like some of the ones on Disney Channel that used to be on, things like that, things such as that. I can't think of right now other things that I used to watch when I was a kid. It gives me that same kind of impression. He shook the interruption off and refocused on you. They've got it. You were so relieved. You were so embarrassed. You couldn't believe it. You didn't know how to react. You were so embarrassed. It was just in the car. That was humiliating. You were left speechless. They've got it. Cove smiled crookedly and shrugged one shoulder. We should probably head to your house. Your moms might want to talk to you. Yeah, my parents really care about me. They kept searching even after you left, and because of all that it worked out. Cove nodded in agreement. Hey, Cove, thanks for being here. He brightened up with sparkling eyes.
Don't worry about it.
I'm gonna leave it at that. When stepping towards the door together, there was a thought in your head that you knew to be true. You were gonna be there for one another when it came to the big things and with the small things. And that's very, like, kind of romancy and cute. So I was almost thinking I'd do another one, if that was what it was, but I forgot about the second half, and we're 50 minutes in. I can't wait to do Escapade. I'll be honest. Road Trip and Escapade, I'm looking forward to. And Mall, but Road Trip and Escapade especially, and Wave. And of these ones, Boardwalk. Boardwalk is amazing. Don't particularly care for this one. This one is actually going to be really interesting with Marina because I think it'll be one of those ones that's completely different than what my friend did, and I'm really excited for it. And Siblings is really good too. Siblings, I wish I had done a couple days ago was Father's Day, and this takes place on Father's Day, believe it or not. So it would have been interesting to do that one, but I'm assuming we'll do the soiree moment with Cove. So there's a difference when you do with Cove or with Derek. But I don't know. We might do Derek. I might flip a coin or something. Anyway, I've rambled a lot. I'm going to check Cove off camera and let you know next time what kind of Cove I got. So we'll see you then.